you need to keep a long-term vision for it, because a lot of people want everything really quickly, and it takes a long time for a lot of different things. But it's 100% worth it, because let's say it takes 10 years and you're 28, you're 30, whatever, and then maybe it's 10 years, 20 years of just everything you've been dreaming about. Let's say you're 30 to 40. In that time frame, you're just having all these incredible dreams come true and all that. Today I want to talk about life strategy. So I think about this all the time. I've probably thought like this for about 12 years, something like that, give or take. I wasn't as hardcore about life back when I was, like 13, something like that. I'd say when I was like 14, maybe when I was like 14, I went really hardcore after what is my purpose, what am I here for, and how do I live the best life possible. And at the age of like 13 or 14, I thought that was through what I was raised in, and the answer was going to be found in the Bible and in my church and things like that. At church, I felt like I didn't see people living out everything that was in the Bible, and I felt like there was more to life, and that there was something deeper, and there was a deeper relationship with God, or a deeper reality, or something like that. And so I went on a huge journey of trying to find the truth in that and the answers there within the Bible, within Christianity. So anyways, that was kind of the first point at like about 14 that I really focused on life strategy and living the best life possible and all that. So anyways, the point of this video is talking about life strategy. So if you want to have any kind of impact on other people at all, and any kind of big impact, I think about like what Mr. Beast is doing is so incredible, just a massive impact on the world, and he really, really understands that we only live one life, and we have this one shot to do incredible things in the world, and that, I think he sees it in a certain way that it's like, okay, this is life, I'm here, I have to do the most amazing things, and I've just thought like that for a long time as well. So if you want to do things on that scale, and it doesn't have to necessarily be a scale such as that, huge, incredible things, but if you want to have a big impact on people, some of the biggest tools are going to be freedom of time and money. So if you have money, you can put that money to work, and you can affect people's lives significantly. And then there's also freedom of time. If you have freedom of your time, you have so much freedom. You can just do whatever you want, whenever you want. So there's those things, and then there's, of course, understanding what impact to have, and what we're doing here, and how to have an impact on people. So that's another piece of the puzzle. But you want to definitely hand in hand be focused on freedom, and freedom in the sense of time, and freedom in the sense of money, and not being held down by that. So I think that can be a really difficult step to get to, a really difficult first step to get to, where you have freedom of time. Because I don't think you ever necessarily have freedom of time, but just more freedom, So if you're at your 9-to-5 job, which is totally necessary for life, for survival, whatever, then you need to be there, you need to be working there and all that. And 9-to-5 jobs are amazing, and I love mine. But you can start thinking outside of that, and when you get home from work, you're 5 to 9, whatever, you can start working on things and growing things that are going to be an incredible investment for the future, and will eventually be bringing in income and be giving you time. And the important point is that you want to be working on that in order to have a large amount of free time in the future and have a schedule that's not just loaded up with all these things you don't want to be doing. So I know that when we're young, a lot of people are saying, we should be just enjoying and carefree, and we don't have many years that are like this, being super young and all that. And I totally understand, and I, like anyone else, am definitely trying to find that balance of just enjoying being young, but also working super hard. And I lean a lot more towards working super hard and just front-loading all of this work so that I can grow these things and set things up for the future, to be able to free up time and to be able to have a lot of passive income coming in. So when you become aware that life is so much shorter than you think it is, and you want to have an impact on people and you want to do things for people, you're not necessarily going to be able to have a huge impact on people if, you're not going to be able to have an incredible impact on lots of people if a lot of your time isn't freed up. So you just want to keep that in mind and put things in place while you're younger. These younger years are so valuable. I'm 25 and I've been extremely hardcore on growing things, building things, and just producing in the world and becoming more valuable and things like that for about 5 years. I've been really hardcore on it for about 5 years. For probably 6 years before that, I was very focused on Jesus and relationship with God and reality and figuring things out so that I know what my purpose is, how I can have the best impact on the lives of others. And I was really trying to, it was related to philosophy and what are we doing here and why all this and all that. And I was trying to figure all that out, which is extremely important because when you get the money and the time, if you don't have an understanding of your purpose in the world, it literally doesn't matter. People get tons and tons of money and they're not happy at all. So what you want to do is you need to find something deeper than chasing money. And of course, as I mentioned before, I'm talking about we're wanting to have an impact on other people, right? We're not wanting to get a lot of money and live hedonistic. So in the future, you want to be focused on impact you can have on other people and loving other people, and that love is going to be incredibly fulfilling. If you're seeking selfishly for this money and this time, it's not going to be complete fulfillment, because there's many examples of people who they get money and they get everything they thought they ever wanted, and they have access to all these pleasures, and they're not happy at all, and they're more depressed than ever. And it literally happens like that. So what you want to do is you want to go much deeper than that, and I would say 100% go after freeing up time and getting more money in order to have more freedom. But the money is not the answer. The money is a tool that allows you to do different things in the world. But happiness, I am incredibly happy in my life right now where I'm at, and I'm not making an insane amount of money. So you're just going to take that same happiness that you have at a base level of not having insane amounts of money, and you're going to keep it and retain it, and you'll probably get happier when you get more money because you're able to do more things and have a bigger impact on people and have a bigger impact on the world. But it's just a tool to be able to put money towards things and affect people and change things and all that. So with your life strategy and all that, another point is that money is not going to be the answer at the end of the day. It's, you find the answer inside. You find the answer through truth, through God, through the spiritual reality and things like that. And you want to be in a place where you're happy, you're grateful wherever, and you're not in this low level of thinking that you need a certain car or a certain house or whatever to be happy, because these are just physical things, and happiness is it's a non-tangible thing. And there's ways that you can You can work it out to find happiness in everything and in every day, and you can find joy in the little things. For example, I have all these visions of my future life, and I see myself being so happy. But the thing is, I'm already incredibly happy every day. The thing for me is that I'm working extremely hard to set up everything in the future to be able to experience that all the time and just live in that happiness all the time without necessarily having to focus on getting all the money that I need for the week all the time and trade my hours for dollars and things like that. And you just have money coming in from different ways because you've become more valuable. And so when you're younger, when you're 18 or whatever, you can start to think about how you can build different things that will become valuable when you stay consistent with them. So I've been working on a bunch of different things for a long time, like YouTube, like this cosplay stuff, like music, and different things like that. And you stay consistent at them, and eventually they'll become valuable. And you keep putting in the hard work, and eventually it'll pay off. And so if you just keep your vision locked on like 10, 15 years in the future after all that hard work, just imagine if you sacrifice 10 years from 18 to 28, or 12 years from 18 to 30. And you have spent all this time building up these different things. And then at 30 or at 28 or whatever, they all start to blow up and they start to give you returns on your investments. And then at that point, if it's really crazy and you're making a good amount of income, like if it's at, $4,000 or even $3,000 a month, that just like kind of passive income, not necessarily because you have to keep things going and whatever, but if you have $3,000, $4,000 of passive income that's coming in that you're not putting a whole bunch of active hands-on duty on, then that is incredible, and you have a whole lot more freedom than a few years ago when you weren't making that much per month. And if you just keep staying dedicated, keep staying committed to these different things that you're growing, and you wait for them to really take off, then when they do, even if it's that $3,000 or $4,000 a month, not anything crazy, then you have so much more freedom, and a lot of your time is freed up, and it could be money as well. Let's say you have your 9-to-5 job plus all that $3,000, $4,000, whatever, then you have money to deploy in all these different things, and you can have a bigger impact on the world. And so you can have just that incredible impact and free up so much of your time with that extra bit of income. But the thing is, you need to keep a long-term vision for it, because a lot of people want everything really quickly, and it takes a long time for a lot of different things. But it's 100% worth it, because let's say it takes 10 years, and you're 28, you're 30, whatever, and then maybe it's 10 years, 20 years of just everything you've been dreaming about. Let's say you're 30 to 40. In that time frame, you're just having all these incredible dreams come true and all that. Not to say it's going to be, all your wildest fantasies, whatever, and all your craziest dreams necessarily. But if you had a goal of where you're going to want to go, and it's practical, and it's something that you could definitely see happening once you break it down, then if you get there, even after 10 years, you have 10 years of your 30s, 30 to 40, just living the life that you wanted. And you front-loaded all of that work in order to be able to have it in your 30s. And so that 10 years could just be absolutely incredible. And that's because you put in the 10 years of hard work. And it might be more like 15. So maybe you started when you were 18, and you kind of get things really rolling when you're 33. You still have so much time if it's 10 years, 33 to 43, and you stay healthy and you have the right habits in place and all that, then you're still super young, and you can still do all these different incredible things. So, time and the freedom of time and more money are just two incredible tools that are really going to change your life and get you to where you want to be and help with that life strategy. So, and that's one side of it. And then when you free up more of your time and you have more money, then if you haven't figured everything out of your purpose and what we're doing here and what life is all about and all that, you will have freedom of time and more money to be able to pursue that truth and figuring all of that out. So even if you put in all that hard, you might feel like if you put in all that hard work, then you will have wasted time or whatever, and you wanted to find your purpose. Well, once you get there and you put in all that hard work, you will have a much better ability to be able to figure out what's going on here, you know? So, of course you want to have a balance, and you want to spend some time figuring out what your purpose is and try to put it hand in hand with what you're doing in order to make money and all those things. But I'm just saying, you are in an incredible position to be able to figure out what you're doing here and what life is all about once you have those things figured out, like more freedom of time and more money to be able to do all that. So, yeah, if you just remember that those two things are super important, along with figuring out your purpose on the way, then it'll be incredibly valuable for your life. And then, you know, for life strategy, there's also the question of, should I spend a whole bunch of time trying to figure out what is going on in the world at the beginning? And I think that's super important, and I definitely went through a long period, like I said, of like 6 years of hardcore focus on, you know, what am I doing here, building that foundation for the reality of, for that foundation of my understanding of reality. And I felt like that would really influence everything that I was doing. And I definitely think it does. But, you know, there's the balance of, you don't want to get so caught up in that you're not taking action and that you're not doing in the world. And I think that you want to have them go hand in hand and have practical things that you're doing to the best of your ability, as well as figuring things out. So I think they kind of just go hand in hand, and you want to draw from both in order to be as successful as you can be in not necessarily financial terms or anything like that, not regarding how much money you're making and all that, but just successful in terms of reaching your goals, you know. So I think those things kind of go hand in hand, and you want to keep that balance. But yes, of course, it's extremely important to know what your purpose is, but sometimes we're not able to figure that out. Sometimes we can't figure out everything about the world. So you just kind of do a little bit of this, figuring out things, and have that inform what you're doing in the world, and then be taking massive action and doing incredible things, and then let that kind of go into your purpose and into what you're doing in the world. And you can also draw from that that financial success and the freedom of time and use it to figure out your purpose and all that. So they kind of go hand in hand, and I will probably go deeper on that topic in another video. But yeah, just keep that in mind, that a couple of incredible tools for a good life strategy is the freedom of time and having more money, and just kind of front loading that in order to be able to have an incredible life and be more successful in the future.